Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Guys and Magic. This is Hunter and Shane. Say what up, Shane.
What's up, nerds?
We are back. This time, the long-awaited $300 upgrade to the Corrupting Influence Precon Commander deck from Phyrexia. All will be one. Last time, Shane, you gave us the $100 upgrade. Just break it down for the people that are new here. What's going on with the deck? Tell us about the base commander, what you're choosing to do with the deck.
Of course, my apologies. It's taking me a minute to get this going, but I believe this is going to be a really good deck, so let's check it out. So like the 100, the 300 is going to be focusing primarily on peppering poison counters on all your opponents, and then hopefully getting some corrupted triggers on cards in your deck. We're still going to be using the face commander Ixhel, Scion of Atraxa. They are the one, a white, a black, and a green for a 2/5 creature with flying, vigilance, toxic 2, and that corrupted ability. It says at the beginning of your end step, each opponent who has 3 or more poison counters exiles the top card of their library face down. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. And you may spend mana as if it was any mana to cast those spells. So basically, we're getting infect on everybody and sitting back and letting corrupted trigger.
Cool. And this is going to be a sequel, right?
This is a sequel. You are correct.
All right, so if you guys haven't already seen it, check the description down below for the $100 upgrade video. As we've said just now, it is a sequel. Check that out first. Going to be continuing it on for this $300 upgrade. So let's go ahead and see what you added into this new build.
So from the 100, I thought we had a lot of great additions. If you want to go and check out all my reasoning for every single ad, like Hunter said, it's in the description. But on the screen right now, you'll see all the cards we're grabbing. We're putting in Bloated Contaminator, Vraska Betrayal Sting, Infectious Bite, Phyrexian Crusader, Skithrix, Blight Dragon, Whispering Spectre, Sword of Truth and Justice, Bountiful Promenade, Undergrowth Stadium, and Vault of Champions. I thought all those were great. They were in the 100. They're still in the 300.
All right, so what are some of the new cards that you're adding into the 300?
Now that we have a bigger budget, I felt like I could expand my horizons and go, what did I want to put in the initial upgrade that just didn't really quite hit the mark? And right off the bat, this could be a little bit of a controversial one, but the big and baddie, if you're playing Infect, you're probably thinking about Blightsteel. So I'm throwing Blightsteel in. The 12 mana, 11/11 artifact creature golem with trample, infect, and indestructible. If Blightsteel would be put into the graveyard from anywhere, reveal it and shuffle it into your owner's library instead. This is just like the king of infect, and I just really wanted to put it in the deck. It is a bit much with 12, but this deck out of the box has 38 lands, like 7 or 8 mana rocks. You should have no problem get to that 12 mana cost.
Yeah, this Blightsteel is a one-shot to some people. It's very,
Yep,
very dangerous card.
very much so. And after playing that 100 list, I was really wishing I had something at that end just to kind of push it through the end and finish it off with something strong. So that is what I put in there with the Blightsteel. And with it being printed in the list and Secret Lair, it's a great time to buy Blightsteel. It's pretty cheap, dude.
Yeah, there's a couple different versions of them you can go out and get for cheaper than it's normally at, which is over $50. So
Next, I'm throwing in Skrelv, Defector Might. It is 1 white for a 1/1 legendary artifact creature. It has Toxic 1 and it cannot block. It also has pay 1 white Phyrexian and tap them. Choose a color. Another target creature you control gains Toxic 1 and Hexproof from the color until end of turn. It can't be blocked by creatures of the color this turn. So it's basically Mom for Infect, and that's Mother of Runes and like the protection card. Like I thought this was fantastic. I didn't really like it as the commander back in the commander grades we gave, but in the 99, this is amazing.
yeah, this let's just give Blightsteel protection from a color of your opponent.
Yeah, big fan, and it can't be blocked. Big fan. And lastly, since we have a little bit more of a budget, I felt better about adding this card. Venerated Rot Priest. This card is a monster in standard right now. 1 green mana for a 1/2, toxic 1. Whenever a creature you control becomes a target of a spell, target opponent gets a poison counter. Now I know this might be better suited in a deck that cares about you casting spells on your creatures, and I completely agree with you. That's true. But even at its lowest like value, you play this card, and if an opponent deals with it, they'll get a poison counter. If they don't, maybe another one of your other opponents will target your other creatures, and then you can just say, "Hey, I'm gonna target your creature, but don't target me with the poison counter." Deal.
Yeah, basically, you're setting up all of your opponents to someone has to fall on the sword.
Yeah,
Like
I thought that was
if
great.
if this and Blightsteel's out, it's like you can target Blightsteel, but you're gonna get the first poison.
That is true.
Well, I love all those creature choices. Those are gonna be really mean in your deck. What about some sorceries?
Well, if you remember from the 100, I mentioned that out of the box, this deck came with a lot of board wipes, in my opinion. I think it was about 4. And I did make a couple cuts in the 100, but now that we're in the 300, I feel like we can swap out some of those board wipes into what I think are stronger board wipes. And that's where these are going to come into play. We're going to be adding Farewell and White Sun's Twilight. Farewell is 4 and a white for a sorcery that says choose one or more. Exile artifacts, exile all creatures, exile enchantments, exile all graveyards. That or more on this card, it just makes it a strictly better card than, let's say, something like Merciless Eviction. This card's amazing.
Yeah, Farewell is probably one of the staple board wipes in EDH as it's been printed.
Same goes for White Sun's Twilight. X and a white for sorcery. You gain X life. You create X 1/1 mites with Toxic 1 that can't block. And if 5 is more, wait, and if X is 5 or more, destroy all other creatures. So it's going to gain you life. If it's more than 5, which it should be more than 5, it's going to wipe the board and leave you with toxic people that can infect your opponents. This is insane in the deck. We are going to care a little bit about that life gain as well. We might hurt ourselves for a bit, and we want to be able to recoup some of that life.
Yeah, and as you being poisoned, you're gonna be getting hit. So getting that life back
Mm.
is always important. But White Sun's Twilight is a fantastic card. I added it in my Rebellion Rising deck because it made a whole bunch of tokens, but fits in this deck too because of the toxic.
Yes, sir.
So White Sun's Twilight was a brand new card. Are there any other new cards from the new set going into your toxic deck?
There is, Hunter. We are going to be adding an instant, an artifact, and an enchantment from the new set. We're going to be adding Black Sun's Twilight, Staff of Completion, and Skrelv's Hive. Black Sun's Twilight is X and a black for an instant. It says up to one target creature gets -X till end of turn. If X is 5 or more, return a creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So this is just a really cool, like, pocket removal. It could be, -5 on something. You're probably not going to kill something too big, but also giving you the ability to bring back your infectors, your toxic creatures that get dealt with. It's just really versatile, and I really like this card. Staff of Completion is 3 mana for an artifact. It has so many things on it. You can tap it, pay a life, destroy target permanent you own. You can also tap it, pay 2 life, add 1 mana of any color. Tap it, pay 3 life, proliferate. Tap it, pay 4 life, draw a card. Or just pay 5 and untap staff. You're probably never going to do the first one. I don't really think we care about killing our own permanents. But those next 3 are so relevant for us. If we don't have any other mana rocks, or if we're lacking on mana, we can get the mana we need there. The pay 3 proliferate is huge in this deck. And then if you have nothing else to do, if you really need to draw a card, it's there too. Like, this just does so much for you. And yeah, you're be sacrificing some life, but like I said, we are gonna have a couple ways to get that life back.
Yeah, the new quote toxic staff of domination seems really good in this deck.
Yeah, I was a big fan of it. And lastly, the Skrelv's Hive, 1 and a white for an enchantment. It says at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose a life, you create a 1/1 might with Toxic 1 that can't block. It also has Corrupted. As long as an opponent has 3 or more poison counters, creatures you control with Toxic have lifelink. So the top part is amazing. You're getting a 1/1 Toxic creature every turn. You are losing a life, but as long as you get somebody corrupted, at least just one player corrupted, all your Toxic guys now have lifelink. So you're going to just be able to recoup all the life you've been losing. I think this card is fantastic in this deck.
Yeah, it's been quite the powerhouse in standard at the moment. Getting that 1/1/1 every single turn becomes overwhelming sometimes.
It really does. And I can't wait to play with it.
Well, I like all those cards. How about lands? Did we do anything to the lands as well?
We did with the bigger budget. We have a lot more room to play around with kind of making the perfect land base. Right off the bat, though, these three that we're showing are going to be more of utility, and I thought they just went really well in this deck. So we're adding Inkmoth Nexus, Rogue's Passage, and Vault of Archangel. Inkmoth Nexus, you can tap it for a colorless, or you can pay one and have it become a 1/1 Blinkmoth artifact creature with flying and infect until end of turn. So this is just infect with evasion on a land. So if you can't get around any other way, you have a land that gives infect now. Like this card is insane in the deck too, dude.
Yeah, just being able to turn that on whenever you kind of need to is pretty
Exactly. Whenever you might need to, boom, get a little infect going, and it's on a land. So I mean, obviously they can kill it when you turn it into a creature, but if you're not turning it into a creature, it's chilling there. Rogue's Passage is also going to be kind of like a pseudo finisher. It taps for a colorless, and then you can pay 4, tap it. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. So if you're playing if you're down to like a 1 versus 1, you drop Rogue's Passage and you have a lethal toxic person or a lethal infect person, you just kind of win. This card is really good in any kind of uh, combat matters deck.
Rogue's Passage plus Blightsteel equals victory.
Well, yeah, that's another avenue. And then Vault of Archangel, taps for the colorless, and it has pay 2, a white, and a black. Tap it. Creatures you control gain Death Touch and Lifelink until end of turn. So just another way to hold up 4 mana, go into combat, and have your opponents go, do I really want to block what you're about to do? You're going to get Death Touch and Lifelink. That's amazing. And then also on blocks, you can keep it up for Death Touch. Like this card's so versatile. And since we had such a large budget, I went through and just made sure everything was nice and smooth in the mana curve. I added the 3 fetches that you can in the colors, along with the 3 shocks you can in the colors. So we're adding Windswept Heath, Marsh Flats, Verdant Catacombs, and then respectively the shocks, Temple Garden, Godless Shrine, Overgrown Tomb. You can never go wrong putting these in your deck. If you have some laying around, they'll go in any upgrade deck you want to play with.
Yeah, the shocks and fetches are really good, especially since your deck is 3 color. They seem pretty important.
Yep. Especially out of the box, the decks tend to always have the whole comes in tapped, does this or that, checks the land. So just to get all that nonsense out of there is really important.
Is that going to be all of your additions for this $300 upgrade?
Those are the $300 additions, buddy.
Okay, additions complete. Let's move on to the harder part. This is where we cut out stuff. So, what are we cutting?
The way we kind of brought over the additions from the 100, I'm also going to be bringing over some of the cuts from the 100. So we'll just put those up on screen real quick. If you want to hear about why I chose these in particular from the 100, check out the video in the description. You can watch the whole ads and cuts, and you can see my reasoning. But we're going to be cutting from the 100, Mycosynth Fiend, Glissa's Retriever, Windborn Muse, Fishgrath, the Doomhive, Phyrexian Rebirth, Myriad Landscape, Temple of Silence, Temple of Plenty, and Temple of Malady. So those are all coming from the 100. Not all the cuts from the 100 are going to be the same. So as you can see here, there are a few that we're actually going to keep in this deck now, specifically Containment Grafter. I hear you. I might have made a little mistake. It's back in.
You did good. What else are we cutting?
So now that we're moving into the 300, we added more cards. We're going to have to make some more room for these new cards. The first of which is Scavenging Ooze. For 1 and a green, a 2/2 ooze. You can pay a green, exile a card from your graveyard. If it was a creature card, you could put a 1/1 on Scavenging Ooze, and you gain a life. The creature doesn't really have anything that cares about infect or toxic. It does gain you the life, like I talked about. We're going to be sort of caring about, but with the other things that I've added and other life gainers already in the deck, I just didn't think it deserved a slot in the creatures because all the creatures that we care about right now, literally all of them right now, have either infect or toxic.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We're going to cut Caress of Phyrexia. It is 3 and a black for a sorcery. Target player draws 3 cards, loses 3 life, and gets 3 poison counters. I did like this card originally. It kind of was like a pay 5, turn on Corrupted for somebody. That's if you target your opponent. You will have them draw 3 cards. It also could be a way where if they only need 3 poison left, you can kill them. So I could see that there's a reason for this, but the deck out of the box, when you go through all these cards, has so much card draw. Like there is so much card draw in this deck that I just felt like cutting one of the higher end ones wouldn't be the end of the world. And this is the one that I picked. And then we talked about the board wipes. We upgraded to Farewell and White Sun's Twilight. So the ones we're getting out of there are Fumigate and Merciless Eviction. Fumigate is 3 white and a white, destroy all creatures. You gain 1 life for each creature destroyed this way. That's basically like White Sun. You're going to be gaining the life as well. White Sun just also gives you creatures. So that's just automatically an upgrade. And same with Farewell was just a strict upgrade for Merciless. Granted, Merciless is 4 a white and a black. Choose 1. Exile all artifacts, exile all creatures, exile all enchantments, or exile all planeswalkers. The planeswalkers is different, and I can understand that, but just the ability to choose all for Farewell is just really good.
It's backbreaking at times.
Yeah. So I get that this has planeswalkers, but Farewell is still better. So we're putting that in. We're going to be cutting an instant. Carry on call. 3 and a green. Put 2 1/1 green insect creature tokens with infect onto the battlefield. That is good. We want infect creatures, but for 4 mana, only getting 2 1/1s, it just didn't seem like it was that impactful, honestly, with all of our creatures that are just leaps and bounds better than this. So I just took it out of the deck.
That makes sense. And you also got Ink Moth in there.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
is always a creature when you want it.
Yeah. We're also getting rid of some artifacts. We got Chromatic Lantern going out, Golgari Signet going out, and Norin's Annex going out. Like I said previously, the deck out of the box has 8 mana rocks. It's so many. And with the addition of Staff of Completion, the Chromatic Lantern is just kind of a little redundant. For 3 mana, lands you control have add 1 mana of any color, and it can also tap for a mana of any color. So with the additions we did to the lands as well, how we're just kind of fixing all of our lands, we shouldn't have a problem in our colors at all. So I didn't really think we needed the Chromatic Lantern. Same goes for Golgari Signet. 2 mana for an artifact. Pay 1, tap it, add black and green. It's a bit of a mana fixing artifact, and I just don't think we honestly need it. So I cut it out of there. Norin's Annex is 3 a white Phyrexian and a white Phyrexian. It says creatures can attack you or planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays a white Phyrexian for each of those creatures. This is just a bit of a, don't attack me kind of card, which I didn't honestly think we need. I get that when you're playing Infect, you're going to be more of a target, but this deck is so much slower than a traditional Infect. I wasn't really worried about the entire table piling onto you or piling on the pilot of this deck. So I got it out of there as well. We're also getting rid of Ghostly Prison for 2 and a white. It's an enchantment that says creatures can attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature they control attacking you. Again, with the whole don't attack me kind of cards, I don't honestly think you need them in this deck. I know I can understand why people would think you might, but with you you're not going to be just shotgunning someone. You might not be the biggest threat at the table. I don't think you need this.
The moment you get Blightsteel, you'll be the biggest threat.
You're right. And when Blightsteel comes down, they'll deal with Blightsteel, and I'll be sad. And since we fine-tuned all the lands, we had to get rid of a lot of lands. So we're getting rid of all the slow lands that either come in tapped or care about revealing a basic or don't even work unless you control one of those islands or swamps. Like that kind of card, I got them out of there. So Canopy Vista, Fortified Village, Croson Verge, Necro Blossom Snarl, Shine Shadow Snarl, Tainted Field, Tainted Wood, and just 2 planes. All those are getting out, and all those great cards we added with the lands going in.
I like it. Is that all of everything? Is that the whole deck?
That is all of everything.
All right. Well, you had the budget of $300. What is the total price of this deck?
At the time of recording, Hunter, you're going to be proud of me. It is $295.
You did it!
I did it.
Proud of you, man. This looks like a mean deck. Can't wait to play against it. expect eventually we'll do our Precon battle with these
Yes, sir.
$300 decks. So stay on the
Maybe I'll
lookout for
win.
that. Comment down below if you guys like this deck upgrade. Also check the description where you can see the box field link to the entire deck itself. Do you have any final thoughts, Shane?
I think that this deck is going to be a lot of fun. I think that the 100 deck is also going to be a lot of fun, but just not as powerful. So I really like the direction this is going to be going. And I think I actually have a real shot at the table with you guys now, even though your precon deck is insane.
It's very fast, that's true. But yep, that's gonna do it. Hit that like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We're going to be seeing more awesome content throughout the history of Guys at Magic. Check the description. Not only will you find the Moxfield link, you will also find the link to the $100 upgrade video at all of our socials. That's Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. That's at Guys at Magic on each. Follow along. See what else we're doing. And until the next video, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Bye bye.